Hello, hello. This is Dobbo by Butterfly Effects. Dobbo is a granular pedal. I would say that it shares maybe the same worldview as like a Mutable Instruments Beats eurorack module, but in pedal form, and with some really cool features and takes on granular processing. So today we'll spend a few minutes talking about how it works, looking at the control scheme and what everything does, and then as we so often do on this channel, we will just start throwing a bunch of different sound sources at it, and we'll see what sounds good, and we'll see how Dobbo handles guitars and synthesizers and gosh, who knows what else. Before we jump in, let me casually mention that in the description you'll find a link to purchase sound libraries and sample packs that I am making under the moniker Otaku Sound. By far the best way that you can support this channel is to visit that link, pick something up. I think you'll like them. I'm really proud of them. Spent a lot of time and energy making sounds that I think are unique in that marketplace. So if you do want to really support this channel, jump in, pick up a sample pack. And with that being said, let's check out Dobbo. So Dobbo has a lot of the things that you would expect on a granular pedal. We have control over the rate at which grains are generated from very slowly to very quickly, as well as control over how large those grains are, from about 10 milliseconds to 1 second on the large end. We've got a dry, wet mix. I'm going to leave this full wet while we're exploring the pedal for now so that you can really hear what Dobbo is doing to the sound. We've got pitch shifting. We've got control over the direction of the grains, playing back, forward, reverse, and a little bit of both, as well as control over the shape of those grains, from a forward pluck to a kind of siny thing to like a reverse saw, ramp, whatever you want to call it. We've got a space knob, which will take us from, hey, I'm making grains, to, hey, I'm making grains that are distributed all over the stereo field, to, I'm making grains with reverb. So a lot of the bread and butter controls that you would want on a granular device, be it a eurorack module, a pedal, or a desktop unit, it's all here. So let's jump back to this rate knob. Right now our clock is unquantized, which is the default mode. So the rate of grain generation is not snapping to anything, but we can change that by tapping a tempo in. And now the rate knob is operating as a clock divider. So around the knob there's like, half, quarter, eighth marked here, and in between those there's some dotted and some triplet divisions. But the grain generation is going to stay snapped to the tempo that we tapped in. We've got a global choice on whether or not this expression and MIDI jack is set up to receive expression control or MIDI information. And if you set it to MIDI, you can send clock. And when you send clock in, same thing goes. This will be a clock divider, basically. So if you want to use it to sync your grains with a drum machine or something else, you can do that. So here we have dig attack, sending clock to Dobbo, and 16th notes selected. So as we play information in, they're going to be synced to the beat. This is a good opportunity to talk about the hold mode, which is one of my favorite things. So let's do this. We're going to play about 5 seconds of guitar, and then I'm going to hold down both foot switches, and it's going to hold that audio in the 5-second buffer. Here we go. Okay, so now Dobbo is not listening to my input. It just has 5 seconds of whatever it heard last held in the buffer. And this is really fun in conjunction with MIDI sync because, well, let me go through how this works first. So the time knob now controls how much of the buffer Dobbo is accessing here. So fully counterclockwise, it's only grabbing the first second of audio, so you can just hear that first note hitting. As we turn this up, it grabs more of the buffer. And fully clockwise, it has access to all 5 seconds. At the risk of jumping ahead of ourselves, I'll show you how fun this is when you go ahead and apply some randomization to all of the parameters and give Dobbo a variable amount of access to different parts of its buffer. So we're going to keep time the same, turn up some chance on size, and on time, and on pitch. Turn the grains up a little bit. And you have this fun, self-playing jam that's in tight sync with your drum machine. And just to show you what some of those different time divisions feel like. You can also access hold mode momentarily by just holding down this tap hold switch, but to lock it in and latch, you hold down both. Another really cool feature setup global option thing is this pitch knob here. I've got it in the middle position, which is octaves, so it'll always be an octave up. Whee! Now we flip this toggle to the left, and it's smooth pitch shifting. So you can fulfill all of your funhouse mirror and granular tape slowdown dreams. This can be really useful for creating a granular chorus, pitch shifting effect, or just having fun, being yourself. Over here on the right, out of the box, the default option here is this is set to semitones, so it's quantized to semitones, and you could if you want your grains to be coming at you third up, or fifth up, you can just dial that in. Or with the global options, you can set it to be octaves and fifths, and that's what I have dialed in here. So it's kind of fun if we were just feeding a tonic in. It would be a lot of fun to throw that around. It's got kind of a count to 5 vibe, or mood. Octaves and fifths, very cool. I'll put that back on just octaves for the purposes of this video. As I mentioned before, our space knob here is is going to control the distribution of grains up until we hit this little dot, beyond which we'll add reverb. And just let you listen to a full sweep here. And you are looking at the entire control over the reverb here. There is no way to adjust the space or the trails or time or any of that. It's just a nice one knob. Turn it. It sounds cool. Can we have more of that in the world? Just turn it and it sounds cool. No shift functions, yada yada yada. Now, let's talk about my favorite part of Dobbo, and that is the chance modulation system here. This is so simple and effective. Essentially, we can apply a random bipolar modulation to 4 of the parameters here: rate, size, time, and pitch. They're color-coded. And if you want to, say, randomize the rate of grains, you press the button until the blue thing is blinking, and then you just turn the chance knob. And the further you turn it, the more it will be modulated. So now we're changing, like a little tiny invisible hand is turning this knob. If we want to do that to size, we'll just blink green. Let's put this in the middle and then apply like 50% chance. So now we are modulating both the rate and size knob. Let's do that to the pitch knob. So now we're starting to get something very random and musical. And even if we change the position of these knobs, it's going to keep modulating them. This is basically just an offset at this point. So if we want things to be mostly pitched up, we pitch them up here, and the chance modulator will kind of jump that knob around. Maybe a whole lot. Maybe not very much. And to reset all of this, you just press that chance button, hold it down for a second, and you're back to square one. That leaves the time knob for us to talk about here. Okay, time knob is basically like, you know, with any buffer scrubbing or granular device or even a delay, you've got your delay buffer, your delay line. In this case, you've got a 5-second delay buffer. You know, it's just a space for recording audio. So you've got a record head that is always traveling along that buffer and inputting new information. And then you have a playback head, and that is playing back at a different point in the loop. The time knob is how you control where that playback head is in relationship with the record head. When the time knob is all the way counterclockwise, the record and play head are traveling together. And what you will experience in that scenario is that as soon as you play something, Dobbo is turning that information into grains. Whereas, if you move that playhead about halfway through the buffer, then if you hit a note on your guitar or piano or whatever, you'll wait about 2.5 seconds before Dobbo starts making that into grains. This is really cool and useful when you start modulating it, and it can add another wonderful layer as the playhead jumps around. So if we modulate the time knob and the pitch and the size and the rate, you're getting a really cool picture of Dobbo accessing information from all across that buffer and becoming more of a musical companion than an effect. Let me roll this mix back and you can hear how it sits with the original part being played on the blooper. So just to wrap up the overview here, let's kind of go back to an initialized state and count how long it takes us to dial in a beautiful companion part to our loop that's playing here on blooper. Ready? Here we go. I don't know, 10 seconds? Let's see what happens if we go octaves and fifths. Yeah, it's too complex melodically. Maybe next time. Okay, so that's the rundown on how Dobbo works, how the modulation system works. Let's just start throwing some stuff at it. See what sounds cool.